Hey, what's up, people? This is Ike Love. I'm creator and author of the blog, The Viable Alternative. It's an inspirational blog where I share the wisdom and insights gained along my path of becoming a greater, stronger version of myself. And if you want to read more about the blog, you can click under the window where it says description, and you'll see a link for www.theviablealternative.com. So I'm going to warn you, this is a little bit of a departure from what I normally talk about. The subject we're going to talk about is kind of weird and esoteric. It's just that I was led spiritually to talk about this. I didn't want to talk about this, but I was going to try and talk about something else, but I couldn't think of anything else. So I knew I had to talk about this. And so I may lose some of you here. Some of you may not believe this, but I have to talk about this. So someone may get this. But anyway, the topic of today's video blog is 7 ways to overcome bad luck. And one of the reasons why I talk about this, because necessarily, by the way, my eyes red, not from I was punched, but like I was rubbing it and it produces redness over here. So anyway, yeah. First of all, I don't even believe in really luck per se. I think we create our own luck. I want to use a different word to describe luck, but it would have made the title a little too long. And I think luck, the word bad luck, encapsulates basically what I want to talk about. That's going to be able to be understood by everybody. I think people know what I mean bad luck, but I'll go into it a little bit more in depth to describe. But when I talk about bad luck, I'm not talking about the ebbs and flows in life. As we all know, there's ebbs and flows. There's ups and downs. There's just the cost of doing business, the cost of living. If we live life, we have our ups, we have our downs. When we farm, there's a season for sowing and there's a season of harvest. In the capitalist economy, there's a boom and bust cycles. And, there are different seasons of life. And basically speaking, some of us have very crappy seasons. Some of us have very prosperous, successful seasons. But, in our crappy season, we're meant to learn something. So if you're going through one of the seasons now, you're not having bad luck. You're just going through life and you're just living. And, it's the cost of doing business, which is the cost of living. So I'm not talking about that. When I talk about bad luck, I'm not also talking about if you make very horrible decisions for your life. If you have a drinking problem and now you complain you have bad luck with jobs because you turn up to the job drunk and the boss fires you because, obviously speaking, he runs a business, doesn't want your drunk behind there. No. Or basically speaking, you meet somebody and you find out they have 4 restraining orders against you and you date them anyway, and then they have 4 restraining orders against their different exes, and then you wind up dating them, and lo and behold, 6 months later, you're getting a restraining order against the person yourself. You're like, oh man, bad luck. No, you're an idiot. You should have known that the person had a restraining order that says it's a foreboding of things to come in your life. Or so yeah, when I'm talking about bad luck, is not if you make horrible decisions, or you're terribly irresponsible, or lazy, or you procrastinate, or you just refuse to use your head and or you refuse to use any type of wisdom. No, you don't have bad luck. You just need to change your wisdom and you need to learn your friggin' lessons that life is trying to teach you. So, when I'm talking about bad luck, I'm talking about those of you who experience constant delay, setback, and stagnation in your life. Just things are not going anywhere, year after year after year after year. I mean, you're educated, you're smart, and you can't seem to find a well-paying job that matches your intelligence and qualifications. And you have connections, you give good interviews, you speak very well, but you just cannot seem to get a break. You have to settle for some rinky-dink job that does not reflect your intelligence. Or you may have bad luck in love, and you may be, you're a good-looking person, you're sociable, you know how to communicate with the opposite sex, or the same sex if you're into that. But something always happens in terms of you really finding long-lasting love that's beyond your control. It's like you have negative forces working in your life, and it's like something out of your control that's out of just your whole realm of control. Like there's just basically speaking setting your life off course. Like you're a misalignment. Something is misaligned because, let's face it, when people have good luck, they're basically aligned. That phrase that says luck happens when opportunity meets preparedness, and some of you out there just never able to get into that alignment. Pastor used to say that the clock of life works on timing, not time. And some of you are just not able to get into that timing that's able to garner you the success, that flow. You're just off course. That's what I mean when I talk about the whole bad luck thing. It's just your constant mishaps and misfortunes. You can't get ahead. Like you take 2 steps forward, and then something happens and knocks you 5 steps backward. Like your life moves at a snail's pace. And it's not anything you're doing, there's just some negative force working in your life. So this is what I'm going to address, because in situations like this, you're dealing with emotional issues and you're dealing with spiritual issues. And emotional issues are emotions obviously are a gateway a bridge between the spiritual and the physical. So we're going to tackle this. And as bizarre as it may have, this may not be for you. You may not get this. I may lose some of you. Like I said, I didn't really want to do this actually, but I was led to do this, so I had to do it. Anyway, first thing you could do to overcome bad luck is heal emotional trauma. In life, from childhood to even our adulthood, we go through situations that wound us in some emotional way. In some way, we go through situations that we're left with an emotional scar that's not fully healed. Emotional trauma is basically an unhealed emotional wound. And what happens now is that we're stuck with this emotional wound. We may not be conscious of it, but it's still in our body, being held by our body, and it's we're reacting, it's affecting us, and it's giving off some type of energy. I'm currently right now working on a book on self-esteem, and I'm really doing finding out some fascinating thing about the heart and the heart intelligence. And what I'm learning is that the heart is the strongest emitter of electromagnetic energy in our entire body, about 100 to 500 times stronger than the brain. And the electromagnetic field that is emitted by our heart extends to about from 5 to 8 feet from our body in all directions. It interacts with the electromagnetic fields of other people, and it interacts with the Earth's magnetic field. Excuse me a second, I'm completely thirsty. My mouth throat is dry. So, it interacts with other people in the Earth's magnetic field, and what happens is that this electromagnetic field that's exuded by the heart is what's encoded in it is our emotional energy. So if you want to have an effect on the electromagnetic field that's emitted by our hearts, we have to now become control of our emotions and become cognizant of the emotions that we emit. So if we have wounds in us from past situations, unhealed trauma, that's being exuded by our hearts, by our electromagnetic fields, and is creating our reality, because what we emit creates the reality in front of us. So we may have one intention for a certain goal in life or whatever, success, prosperity, but we may be emitting an emotion of fear or anger or resentment that completely be affecting our reality in a way that we may not be aware of, and affecting our reality in a way, or change our reality to a way that we will not consciously choose. So the key in a situation like this is to heal your emotional wound, heal your emotional trauma, which may take some type of therapy or counseling or massage or yoga. There are different things that work to give you or heal you emotionally, heal emotional trauma. But again, it's the trauma that's exuding the energy that's causing us to be in misalignment with the goals and dreams that we have. Now we're going to get a little deeper. Second step, heal your intergenerational trauma. And what I mean by this is that, many of us are walking around with trauma from our parents and their grandparents and our ancestors, because believe it or not, when two people, a man and woman, come together to conceive a child, they're not only passing on to the child its DNA, they're also passing the child their energy, including emotions that have been unresolved. That goes into the creation of the child. If you have a certain mood when the child is being conceived, that gets passed on to the embryo as well. And so what happens now, we're carrying around wounds not only from this life, but also the wounds that were passed on to us by our parents. I remember a story of a guy I know whose parents went through the Holocaust and survived the Holocaust. And he was born a couple years later, thousands of miles away in Queens, New York. And he said that one day while he was playing in the yard, he just felt this huge, a huge wave of fear that seized his entire body. He said, as if he was being chased. It was so overwhelming. And here's a kid playing Queens, and he said playing Queens the playground, but he said when he got therapy years later, he realized that he inherited the fear of his parents when they're in a concentration camp, being chased by SS guards who were, hired to watch over the prisoners. I remember in a therapy session that I had gone through, I was telling a story that I heard that my father had gone through. And for some bizarre reason, I mean, he had gone through it years before I was born. I burst out in tears. And I didn't know what he went through, but I just felt the emotion, like whatever he had gone through, it literally like seized me. And I knew that he passed it on to me. But what's funny, as I let this emotion go through and I like let it out, it's funny, I had this huge financial breakthrough that week. It was weird. I had like the biggest financial breakthrough I ever had in a long time. And since, I'm in real estate and I did like 3 deals that like in the span of 2 weeks, something that I had been struggling for years. And something connected to that energy. So if you're going through some type of misalignment in your destiny, misfortune, it could be of unresolved emotional trauma that's basically speaking, sending out a certain type of energy that's creating a reality that you don't necessarily want. Now, we're going to cross the realm from the emotional to the spiritual. And what I mean by that, the third step is prayer. Prayer is a powerful thing. Now, you may have been praying and praying for some type of breakthrough for the whatever mishaps you're going through life to end, and it hasn't helped. In a situation like this, I suggest, and I've seen tremendous results from doing this, but get in contact with some type of spiritual person who's anointed to pray, like a man of God in a church or whatever. There's some people who have a powerful anointing to pray, and their prayer can break whatever bondage or bonds that are causing the setback, delay, and stagnation in your life. I know a person, I know a guy who he was going through a rough time. Like his child's mother took custody of the kids, and he couldn't get a job for the life of him. He called up a man of God. The guy prayed for him, and he said literally within a week, his phone was ringing off the hook with jobs. And he said that he wound up getting full custody back from the kids. He said he was utterly insane. I know other people who've prayed for people who had trouble with people, employees in the job, or fellow employees in the job who were trying to get them fired. And after prayer, the employee literally left them alone or moved to a different department. So prayer works. Also, there are certain types of prayers that spiritual people have put together that actually can have effects on your on the prayer, on the results that you're looking for. I have a prayer here, and in this prayer, there's like oh my goodness, obviously nothing. It's not prayers about financial distress. Prayers to help you excel in life. I mean, I know people who swear this is called the prayer rain. It was written by an African minister and everything. But yeah, I've heard that people have had remarkable results with these specific type of prayers designed for a different result. And so you may want to go through that avenue of praying, of seeking prayer from anointed people. But the one caveat is this: never let a man come in between the relationship between you and God. I mean, there's people are great to pray for you and everything like that, but don't become overly dependent on them. What's most important is your walk with God, and He may send people on your path to help you, but never substitute another person for your own walk with God. Anyway, next, fasting. And fasting is basically, fasting is giving up something for a certain period of time for a certain result. So, the most common thing of fasting is giving up food, like, let's say you may go on a fast of 24 hours of no food, or what they call a dry fast is 24 hours of no food or drink. Or you may, for 7 days, you may fast from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. where you don't eat for that 12-hour period. Or you may give up, television for 30 days. Or may wear a certain color for certain days. It's some type of like behavior offering that you want to do, behavioral offering that will so that you can facilitate results in your life. I personally perceive prayer and fasting is very powerful. Remember in the Bible, when Jesus sent his disciples out to cast out demons, and a particular man with a demon-possessed child came to Jesus with his son because his son was possessed, and he said to Jesus that his disciples couldn't cast him out, and Jesus basically said a couple words and cast out the demon. And then the disciples are marveling. They're like, "How come we couldn't cast it out? We tried, we couldn't cast it out." And Jesus said, "Was because this demon comes out by praying and by fasting." Fasting is a very powerful spiritual tool. And if you choose to fast, you kind of make yourself more open for spiritual warfare to be used by whatever spiritual forces are fighting for you. You facilitate them being able to fight for you in the spiritual realm, and for you to then facilitate the results that you're looking for. Because you know, there's another Bible phrase that says, whatever is bound in earth is bound in heaven, whatever loose in heaven, loose in earth will be loose in heaven. And basically speaking, whatever we do on earth has spiritual ramifications, and whatever's happening in spirit has earthly ramifications. So we can affect what happens in the spiritual world. One of them is through fasting. So if you're having some type of setback or delay, fasting can actually do the trick. Another person who told me he had an emotional outburst with somebody and was embarrassed by it. And so he wanted to get over this spirit of anger in him because he knew it was affecting in certain areas. So he told me he fasted for 30 days. No food for 30 days. And I think he said he only drank water up to 6 p.m. and then after 6 p.m. for the rest of the day he had juice. So that after the 15th day of his fast, he actually felt like he was delivered. He knew he was delivered, but he continued to fast for 15 more days. But he said he doesn't have to deal with that spirit of anger anymore. So fasting is a powerful thing. Next thing, and actually, by the way, it's worked in my life. I remember meeting an incredible woman. I fasted for 3 days. I didn't even do it for that. I did it for just results in my life. And I met an incredible woman, and she had an impact on my life. And I'm still friends with her. I'm not with her anymore, but she had a profound impact on my life, and I attribute that to a fast I did. It kind of shifted me. Anyway, now, next step, burning sage. I don't know how to describe sage. Sage is like anybody who burns sage, forgive me because I'm not probably doing it justice. But you know, incense exudes a certain aroma. Well, sage is kind of that thing. It's like exudes a certain aroma, but it's supposed to cleanse energy in the room. Like it cleans energy. It cleans like bad energy, bad vibes, you know. And I know some people who are having a bad streak financially, or you know, there's a bad energy in the house, or they're dealt with somebody with bad energy. They smudge that that's what they call one sage. When you burn sage, they spread around a certain area, vicinity, and it's supposed to clean the air in the room. It's supposed to clean all the negative energy and clean the air of negative energy, entities, environment, negative entities. And some people, I said, it's worked for their life. And if you're on that spiritual path, you may want to try that. You know, look it up, burning sage. The next thing now, energy healing. Now, to talk about energy healing, first off, if you're into the spiritual or the esoteric world, metaphysical, we have seven energy centers in our bodies called chakras. And each chakra is responsible for receiving a different type of thing. We have the first chakra, the top chakra, is called a crown chakra, all the way down the 7 chakras, and then the other 6 chakras lead down to the root chakra. And yeah, they're basically responsible for allowing different types of energies in our bodies. The root, actually, don't let me lie. I don't know. I'm not going to butcher what each chakra is about. I think our throat chakra is responsible for how we communicate. Again, I'm not going to get into what each of them are because I don't know. But so energy healing basically describes the concept that we're not only a physical body, but there are several energies above our physical body, including our energy body. And so now there are energy healers who are able to are trained to actually see our energy body. Some see, some can like hear, some can touch and see what the problem is. I mean, different people have different gifts of seeing or perceiving our energy bodies. But it's said that any sickness or any type of problem we have in life, it can actually be seen in our energy bodies first before it manifests physically. And what happens now is that if you go to a proper energy healer, they can repair your energy body and also send light to the chakras that may be blocked, that's blocked. And that's whatever problem you have in life, there may be a corresponding chakra that's blocked energy-wise that's causing the problems in your life. I went to one in 2009 twice, and I remember I was totally at the end of my rope. I was going through a very crappy time in my life, and I was actually even questioning even living. It was horrible time. I'm telling you, I can't even underscore how horrible it was. And remember going to an energy healer, and he laid me on this like massage bed, and I went to a deep sleep. He told me we were going to deep sleep, and basically speaking, he just sent energy to different or various areas of my body that were blocked. And after an hour and a half of this, I woke up and he explained to me what he did. And he said, your heart chakra was totally, completely blocked, like about, I think he said 70, 80%. It was totally blocked. And it was no wonder, because I was thoroughly living a miserable life at that time. And he said that when he sent light to it, my heart just sucked it up like, And, I went through the thing and didn't feel anything different. Actually, was even more depressed. I thought I wasted my money. But let me tell you, 24 hours later, I felt like a way that I hadn't felt in years. Like I felt lighter and lifted. My mind was more clear, and I felt more spiritually powerful, And it basically was a big help to me, because I did undergo a huge spiritual cleansing a couple months later, and it was kind of like a pre-surgery type of thing, that energy healing I had gone through, and it definitely helped, because when I went to the spiritual cleansing several months later, it did actually change my life and set me in a different course. But I definitely will speak for that energy healing I'd gone through. It definitely did have an effect on my life. Now, did it change my luck per se? Well, it changed the way I felt, and it gave me more sense of vitality and health and cohesion. So I would suggest that if you are going through problems, energy healing might help. There's a woman named Barbara Brennan. She wrote a book called Hands of Light, I think it's called. Look her up, Barbara Brennan. She has a school in Florida, and you can read more about it and to find out more about this. I read a good part of the book to know what I was getting into. Number 7. I think this is the last one. I may give you a bonus if this doesn't go too long. Number 7, deliverance. And what I mean by deliverance, remember those movies, the movie The Exorcist? When people talk about, or basically deliverance is known in the Christian circles as just casting out spirits from people. But I do know that other spiritual walks do it. I think, so Christianity would call it casting out demons or unclean spirits or whatever. New Age will probably call it getting rid of dark entities or shadow energies in your body. But basically speaking, it's kind of it resembles kind of like the Exorcist movie, and I've seen deliverance sessions before. I've experienced them personally, and it's real. It's definitely real. It's definitely real. It's definitely getting rid of something in your body. If you don't believe in spirits, it's definitely getting rid of dark energy in your body. And if you want me to get a little scientific, there is a practice, actually scientific thing called bioenergetics. And bioenergetics is a system of psychotherapy where emotional healing is aided through like the resolution of muscle tension. Basically speaking, blocked energy. And if you see a bioenergetic session, they're having people standing different poses to break up the nervous tension in the body. And when the person releases energy, it literally is like an exorcism, because they release different emotions, trapped emotions. One minute they're laughing, one minute they're crying, one minute they're like punching a wall and everything like that, because they're trapped energy. So deliverance is not necessarily that much different from a bioenergetic session, but I think in deliverance, I've seen people talk in different voices and speak different languages and stuff like that. But definitely speaking, it will change your life. I've gone through stuff like that, and it changed my life, and it definitely changed the course of situations that happened in my life. If you have some type of spiritual blockage that's making you act in ways you normally won't act, or perceive things in ways that you normally won't perceive, or blocking ways of perception that if you did not have that blockage, you'd be able to see more clearly, to have more success in your life, or these things are just causing stagnation, delay, whatever like that, then definitely speaking, this is a way to get rid of that. This is definitely a way to get rid of any type of, if you want to call it shadow energy, emotional blockage, unclean spirits or demonic spirits, whatever the hell that makes you feel comfortable, whatever your spiritual work is. Deliverance is basically when someone is praying over you and casting out these demons, or whatever you want to call it. And I've seen remarkable change from people. People have given up smoking or alcoholism, or people have clear perception and gone on to be successful from it. It's something that I say works. And I'm talking to you as a guy who was born in Brooklyn, New York. I went to school with I have a bachelor in science, and so I'm a normal dude, but I will say unequivocally, I've seen some ish, and this has definitely worked, and I've seen it work in people's life. And again, if you're having bad luck, desperate times call for desperate measures. You know, nothing else worked. You may want to consider the 7 options. I'm going to give you one more extra option, and that is giving some type of offering. I know in the Pentecostal church, well, first off, I want to make a disclaimer for the clowns that come on television, these ministers that say that God told him to tell you to give $1,000 to his ministry so he can build, or $1 million in ministry so he can build a new church or whatever. I'm not talking about these clowns like that who go and take people's money and everything like that and act like they're holy and stuff like that. I do personally know in certain churches that forget what the pastor may do with the money, but if you, with the intention, sow a seed, and it's called a sow a seed offering, you give $100, whatever, you could actually have change in your life. You can see actual breakthroughs happen in your life and obstacles move from doing this specific act. I remember a minister telling someone, I know this person had a problem into getting accepted into a residency program, and the minister told her to give $100 to ministry program because she couldn't get it. There's a program that she wanted to get into, and basically speaking, they said they were filled, and she couldn't get in. So she gave $100 to the ministry, and let me tell you, a week later they called, they apologized, I said they would love to have her, and she joined she was able to start the residency. So yeah, it worked. I know another person. I remember back in the day, a pastor telling me to give ministry that he sees a blessing for me or whatever, you know. And you may say, oh, he's a crook. I gave the blessing, I gave them the offering, and 2-3 days later, I had this huge financial breakthrough. So it may work for some people, it may not. I'm just saying, you know, but if you are having some serious stagnation in life, giving some type of offering, it may be financial. I mean, usually it says financial because I know the Bible says money answers all things. And what they mean by that is that you can use money to, as a seed to actually cause change in your life. So yeah, I will say, you know, sowing fertile ground, you know, giving some type of offering may help. It's kind of in line with fasting because fasting is a kind of offering too. So anyway, yeah, so these are my eight ways to overcome bad luck. And like, again, if you don't get this, you don't get this. What am I going to do? You know, but if you do get this out there, like I said, I hope one of these things work. Also, I say to use this. I mean, I've been sent by God to different classrooms in life, different spiritual walks. So you can see my 8 different reasons reflect the different spiritual walks that I've had in this life. So go with whatever resonates with you. Also, I say this, follow your source, pray to your source, whatever your source is, and have him guide you into what may resonate with you. I'm not by any way telling you to follow some type of my path, you know, follow your path, whatever that is, and find a way that resonates with you to overcome the emotional and spiritual blockages that are preventing you from having the life that you deserve. So I hope all this helps. Yeah, I hope all this helps. I definitely pray for each and every one of you that you get the breakthroughs you're looking for, and that the obstacles, delays, stagnations, and setbacks in your life get removed. Sincerely, I know what I know what it's like, and it sucks like hell, because it's like, again, a negative force is acted upon you, and it's like whatever you do, no matter how hard you work, like no matter how like you do everything honestly, and just something else is out there, some negative force. So again, take it from a guy who's been through all this, and still kind of going through all this actually. This is my gift to you from the hell that I've been through. So anyway, take care. God bless. If you want to read more on my site, go to www.theviablealternative.com. You can also follow me on Twitter, The Viable Alt. And if you like this video, please share. Please share with someone you may think need this. Also, click like in the video, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So take care, God bless, and peace.